Hi, thanks for stopping by to check out these learning modules on grief and loss. My name is Les White and I'm a social worker and one of the counselors here at the University Counseling Center. I'm glad you dropped by, and I'm going to venture a guess that you may have had a loss in your own life which created some curiosity about what these modules were about. Or maybe there's somebody in your life who's gone through a significant loss and you're wondering how to be helpful for them. Or maybe you're just curious overall. But at any rate, I'm glad you stopped by. I wanted to start by explaining that we've divided these trainings into 3 modules. I'll provide you with some information about how grief affects people, how our culture tends to view it, and I'll offer what I hope are some better or more helpful ways to think about grief. First of all, to mention that most dictionaries define grief as a deep, intense sorrow or distress. If you've experienced grief, you know that it's deep, you know that at times it's very intense, and that it's distressing. Grief is not unidimensional, but it affects all dimensions of our life. For example, grief has emotional effects. It can create a significant amount of emotional distress, ranging from anger to depression to sadness and many other things in between. Also, grief affects us physically. It can affect things as basic as sleep and appetite. It can change the way our bodies feel. We can feel slowed down in many cases. Grief affects us cognitively. It can affect how we think about our life and how we think about others, and those thoughts can become fairly circular and seem to go nowhere at times. Grief also affects us relationally, that is, in our relationships. We may find ourselves withdrawing from others. We may find ourselves angry with others. We may find ourselves wanting to be around others so that we can be distracted. But at any rate, it does affect our relationships. Grief also affects us spiritually. And what I mean by that is that sense of, why am I here in this world at this time? And what is going to give my life meaning? What is worth getting out of bed in the morning for? And grief and loss can really begin to affect how we see the answers to those kinds of questions. So as we go along, we're going to ask you to consider some different ideas about grief and participate in some exercises, and also explore some of the external resources that we'll create some links to. So thanks again for stopping by.